So at Elmfield there's really no emphasis on testing, ranking and grading of pupils, and we don't do SATs either. But I would say that our GCSE results are among the best in the area. Certainly in 2013 our leavers achieved, 89% of our leavers achieved grades A star to C in their GCSEs, which put us as the top school in the area. And the year prior to that, July 2012, it was 95% of our leavers. In terms of GCSE results, whilst that's a very narrow measure of education, we were among the best in the area. But what I'd really like to emphasise is that we are about fulfilling children's potential. It's about developing every child. So GCSEs are only one tiny measure of that, I'd say. One of the key differences you'll notice between mainstream and Waldorf education is that it's actually very rare for a pupil to spend the whole day in a classroom, particularly with a textbook, for example. The resources are normally created by the class teacher for that particular group of children, and commonly children will experience crafts, music, singing, the outdoors, all the learning styles, so that learning is memorable and fun. What also makes us unusual is that our class teachers stay with one group of children, the same group of children, for a period of 8 years. So from the age of 6 to 14, your child would have the same teacher. Not for all of their lessons. It starts off with around about 80% of their lessons, and then by the time they're age 14, it's just a few lessons a week. But it's really important to have one point of contact for those children, and that class teacher will get to know those children intimately. They'll get to know their fears, their talents, their history, and that's a really powerful thing when in fact the responsibility of a class teacher in a Waldorf school is to design lessons for that particular group of children. Our class teachers can't take the previous year's lessons off the shelf and then just teach it to that group of children. They need to think about those children that are in front of them. So it's actually an exhausting job. They're designing lessons that are really, really tailored and bespoke. So what we find in our open events is that parents typically ask where do children go after they've left Elmfield. And children go on to a variety of different institutions, but commonly they'll go to sixth form college and then university. Many go on to study academic subjects at university. In actual fact, we carried out a study a couple of years ago tracking the progress of all our Year 11 leavers, and we actually found that of all the Year 11 leavers over a 5-year period, 11% had got into Oxbridge, which is a wonderful byproduct of our education. However, what we don't aim to do is hothouse or prepare pupils for Oxford or Cambridge University. In fact, the emphasis is really on developing confident, free-thinking, socially responsible and creative young people, the sort of citizens we want in the future. And what's interesting is that commonly the lecturers at sixth form colleges often talk about Elmfield students because they bring something very different. They bring a different perspective, a more considered perspective, and a whole wealth of skills they've developed over the many years at Elmfield. We had a great example a few months ago. We had an open event, and 3 college lecturers actually turned up, not because they wanted to send their children to the school or even because they have children, but purely because they were fascinated at the pupils that come to their sixth form colleges, and they wanted to find out exactly what we were doing here to develop such confident, creative, free-thinking young people. We have families from a wide range of backgrounds at Elmfield, both in terms of nationality, faith, income, etc. So we have parents who are consultants, who are theatre directors, plumbers, unemployed, a wonderfully diverse mix of parents. And we also have parents and families from different religions, Sikh, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, atheist, and it's a wonderfully rich, diverse community. We have children aged 3 to GCSE, so we offer places for children in nursery through to kindergarten, to our lower and middle school, and then our upper school where GCSEs are taken. I think there are so many reasons why you'd want to send your child to a Waldorf school, not just the different delivery of the education, so it's not just because of the way in which the lessons are taught using music, craft, the outdoors to enliven the education, but it's also the focus on understanding as opposed to knowledge. We're not an exam factory. Our intention is not to pack children full of knowledge and then test them to see how much they know. The emphasis is on really developing creativity and understanding.